it got a centimeter too close to being creepy stalkerish.
To pick up boys in VR.
Yeah. She was like, "Oh, it was really nice to see him, and I really like seeing him do this." And
She just
then
says that he always looks like he's having so much
he's
fun.
having a good time, he's enjoying
Yes.
himself, and it even made it and then it started getting easier to, like, follow him and look
I
find
started
him,
looking for him.
and I'm like,
That was the line where I was like, yeah, I did that. It's like I started looking for him, and it's like, huh?
"No, don't do that." So it got, like, a hair close to being creepy. Just a little bit.
It's
Hi, hello, this is Jules the Human here, and welcome to the Jules the Anime Hour. I'm one of your hosts, Jules the Human, and every week we go out into the world and watch a little bit of anime, and then we come back here and talk about it. And today is our second time that we're going to be talking about Shangri-La Frontier, which was suggested by you guys. And we're going to talk about it, give our review on episode 5 through 8, and then next week we're going to give our final review, rank it among so many anime that we've already watched this season. And this anime season is coming to a close. So this Jules and Matt Anime Hour, the Shangri-La Frontier will be the last anime here on this list. And we're going to pick a brand new anime after we do our Crunchy Awards. So these are the anime that are still out here, ready to be picked, ready to be watched by us and by you. But I don't go on these anime journeys alone. I go with my co-host Matt Galley. Matt, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing so good. I am ready to talk about some more Shangri-La Frontiers, something I have been doing as well. And I think I talked about it last time a little bit. I've been playing some Marvel Rivals, man. Man, it feels so good to be back. We are so back. It's so nice having a fun, competitive game that feels like it puts the fun first over like competitive balancing. In my
Okay.
opinion, like, it's just it really puts the fun first and sells that power fantasy of like, what if all these characters had a team up and like had to fight against each other? It's basically that scene from Captain America Winter Soldier played out in like, all these different other scenarios with mixes and combinations.
So something that is sort of related because yeah, the game has came out. And hello, everybody watching live. We see you in match chat as well. Wizard Scissors, hello, hello. Um, but Marvel Rivals, something that's really cool because I've been getting into comics lately. They have a Marvel Rivals comic that is just following the story of Marvel Rivals. So if you're into comic books, which I've been getting into, I saw that I read the first one. It was pretty good. I think the second one already came out. But you can read them all on Marvel Unlimited, their system. It's $10 a month, but you get the first week free. So that's what I did with other comic stuff I've been reading. So they have this Marvel Rivals comic book
Hashtag not an
that's
ad.
not an ad. It's just something I used in the past couple weeks to catch up on all the Marvel stuff I haven't read. But yeah, Marvel Rivals has their own little comic book series, just specifically made from the game. So, but we're here to talk about Shangri-La Frontier. The second time we're
Yes,
watching
we
it,
are.
and I gotta say, as like, I'm still on the train. I think I'm still rocking with it. Just like a general thought, I just like I'm okay on the character, a little bit more on how he's sort of going through this world, and now that we're showing other stuff from other worlds and building characters and stuff, like I'm still on the road here that he's going on.
I feel like it plants enough seeds of intrigue with like now we get like in the midst of these episodes this whole like forum jumping concept where we see all these different perspectives and how he is quickly becoming like a name. Like somebody mentions it at one point, super small throwaway line that he's basically becoming like a boss event in and of himself,
Mhm.
Sunraku, by like just having this like lore built around him where like, oh, everybody doesn't know what's going on. What are these marks on his body? Why is he holding a bunny? Like, what's going on with this guy?
And
So
it is, yeah, it's
I
super
buy
cool to
into
see
that,
that.
you know.
Yeah,
Because
because
I don't
we
know how familiar your far back your like MMO knowledge goes, but all the way back to like Ultima Online, it was like a game that was built on the actions of the community members, and there was one of the developers was an in-game like character, the leader of like one of the factions, and there was an actual like in-game assassination on him with by a player that exploited the game mechanics in order to pull it off. So I feel like
No.
the game is like, or the show has leaned into those concepts of like this is a world where the actions of the players kind of like build the world that they want to be a part of as pioneers, because we start to see like, oh, there's this zookeeper character, like all these different just by adding certain elements, it's implying the existence of like
So
way
much
more
more.
than we can't see yet.
Yeah,
Exactly.
which
So
is very cool. And
the world
also,
building is on point for me.
yeah, and also probably gonna be hopping into Final Fantasy 14 sometime soon because it is that it's there, man. I'm just like, oh man, do I have to do it? Do I gotta do it? Because it's like hitting those little whatever. All right, let's get into it. Episode 5, Lo, thou art assailed on all sides. What happens in episode 5?
Sunraku faces the Mud Digger in the swamp, and thanks to Emil, he pulls off an accidental meteor strike on the Mud Shark using a teleport mishap. Excuse me. While heading into town, Emil showcases their incognito form and attempts to convince the town guards that Sunraku is sound of mind, even though he's half naked. Sunraku notices he's being watched, as we see how quickly the screenshot from earlier has circulated the forums. Sunraku, now stuck between Anim- Animalia, the Emil stan, and a familiar face from the Ashura Kai PK clan, Arthur Pencilgon.
I put down their name as Pencilgon, and then I looking over my notes for today, I changed it to Pencilton, and I think that's just way better. Arthur Pencilton is just a better name than Pencilgon. Like it's hard to switch from pencil to gone, and I don't know why my brain did that. It just changed it to Pencilton, so I may slip up here and there.
It has
But
some very not interesting, but like wordplay that just doesn't roll off your tongue. Like all the
no,
names of the towns are just kind
no.
of like awkward, but like I
Oh
know what they're
god.
doing, you know?
We know what you're doing, but please stop it. Please, please do not do that anymore. I
I
thought we were gonna
came all
stop
the
at
way
3.
from ninth.
Yeah, ninth or something. So he starts off fighting the area boss like we did leave off last episode, which is a swamp terrain area, forces you into a walking state. They say this animal or this boss is a S-class boss. Um, what I wanted to add on earlier, like I'm still on the train even though it doesn't feel like we're doing a whole lot. Like I'm still there on the train, even though there's these large, like sweeping, beautiful fights. Like there's like 2 or 3 big fights in these 4 episodes, and this is one of the first ones where he takes down this area boss. And while like story wise, nothing's really going on, it's still really cool to see him use new moves. I love the way that everything looks here. Even like the little recast timers that pop up for him, and he's like trying to go through the fight, the slide moves, repel counter, the all these
Yeah,
different.
the animation is like dynamic and keeps you
Yeah.
engaged with the fight scenes, because it makes it feel as though he's not just breezing through, and that he's using the tools that he has available in the best ways possible in order to achieve victory. And it makes you feel just, like it's happening alongside you, and you're not just watching, it, happen on screen.
Because in some other anime, yeah, I agree, where it just feels like it's sort of happening, and I'm just like, okay, I have to watch this for show, and I'm waiting for like a story thing, and I'm just like, okay, like this looks okay, this is fine. But like with this, it's still super compelling to see him figure out how to fight, figure out how to do some of these moves and stuff. So like that's fun in it of itself, away from the story that's sort of happening. So I really like this fight. The way that he got the what missile or whatever it was, that was super
The
cool.
meteor fall.
Yeah, whatever that was. Um, he threw Emil at one point, and I was just like, he's home, and it's like, oh my god, no way! It was so good. Senraku gets thrown into the air for the area boss to do its damage attack. we find out that it whittles down solo players with its fall damage. So that was kind of a cool thing that happened during the fight.
Hmm.
Emo cast magic scroll to teleport, hit the meteor, mistake meteor fall. So he didn't do a perfect one or whatever because he doesn't have that, but did it on top of the mud digger, survived with 1 HP, and he leveled up. Emil, we gotta talk. So Emil has this ability, of course. She does. That changes into a little bunny girl that can, it seems a little better. I like this conversation with Sunraku and Emil. I don't know if it's because she was a girl, but I like their sort of back and forth. How do you like their relationship here in this episode where it's just like, what how are we gonna deal with this? You're a
Yeah.
bunny that apparently everybody wants, that everybody recognizes now, that is a pet that you're
Well,
not supposed to be able to have.
like he says, even in the first place, he's like, you know what? No matter what happens, you're still gonna be somebody tugging around a half naked dude. And I think that's the perfect way of balancing it out.
Yeah.
It's like there's nothing to hide, there's nothing to conceal. He can hide as long as he wants to, for like he can try to like withhold the information about how he got the unique quest, but I don't even think he himself realizes Lycagon's mark is what probably triggered it.
Mhm.
Um, so it's just like it kind of just throws its shoulders, shrugs its shoulders, the show, and says like it's whatever. He's gonna have to deal with it, and the repercussions are gonna come, and immediately he has to deal with the repercussions of it. So I like that the show gets into it and acknowledges it before he can even get into the next town and get like a reset going. It's like, oh boy, here are the consequences of my actions, which are I was just wandered into the street with Emil like it was no big deal. Like
Yeah, and he
you weren't
doesn't
thinking.
even yeah, he doesn't even make it to Third Dreama, the third town, obviously. Um, because Anomalia is another character that we meet, recognizing Sunraku from the forums. He gets blasted on the forums. We get information about the Shurikai, who is a clan of player killers looking for him. It seems like this curse is still fairly new to a lot of people. Some people don't even know about it, but like this was kind of cool. I think it was this episode where they did the whole like media information montage.
Yep,
I really like that
I
because
did
like
too.
it showed how it just like spread into a wildfire, and it's just from like this one picture. And then even in the last episode, the girl that took the picture was getting flack from it because people on Reddit, quote
Yeah,
unquote
yeah.
Reddit, were like,
Like
you
you're not
shouldn't even be
supposed to
taking
post
pictures.
blah 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 blah.
Yeah, you shouldn't take pictures without their permission. And she's like, wait, what, I just wanted help, I'm a newbie. And it feels like I've been there. It feels
Yeah.
like I've been just like jump into a new game, check out the subreddit or whatever, and be like, "Hey, is this good build or something?" They're like, "No." How much you're free to play? What's going on? What's happening? So it felt really cool to see it go from like this little small. I'm gonna take a picture, like you said last time, picture mode, and then it became like this whole thing on the internet, and he
Hmm.
became like this sensation that nobody can really crack. That he's the first person to do this and go
Yeah.
down this road.
And I like seeing the back and forth on the forums that people are having with certain things, like, oh my, like just, people are pointing out, oh, if this is true, then it implies this. And people are just able to like kind of just, what, there's a word for it. I'm sorry.
Connect
Uh
the dots.
yeah, connect the dots. People are able to just connect the dots without even really needing a lot more context than the picture, whether it be just their own um like theories or not. Some of it like holds weight, some of it holds water, and it's really funny, like you were saying, just to see how quickly it all spreads like wildfire, and you get to see all the different like sides of the reactions of people, from people just going, oh my god, this guy's getting a lot of attention, to hey, this is like of necessary importance to our clan, and now we
Yeah,
need to lock it.
because now everybody, all the clans are after him. And bro's a gatekeeper. What do you, if you were a gamer here in this moment in Sunraku's position, as you, not as Senraku, because I understand his motivation. He's like, I'm a trash gamer. I want to break this thing. I'm the only one that's done this, and this is crazy, man. I'm not gonna tell anybody, but as you
Sure.
and you see this sort of going on the forum, and there's a picture of your character. Do you sort of outweigh the cons to the pros? Are you
The
thinking
thing
like,
is,
oh man, everyone's gonna come after me? Oh
yeah, yeah,
fuck.
yeah. The thing is that like I don't know if I'd necessarily like if somebody wanted to know how, even if I did know, it's like the theory that I'd have crafted in his shoes up to this point is that like, hey, I was out night hunting and ran into a unique monster that's a random encounter that people don't even run into that often. So first of all, a random encounter is a hinge point of this. And I put up so good of a fight at such a low level and belittled the thing and challenged it. And it felt as though I put up a challenge that it decided to mark me, which is what might have caused this trigger of a unique quest that gave me this companion. Like, but I whether or not y'all can replicate it, I don't know. Like, he doesn't. I don't see any benefit in withholding the information because of how many variables it has hinged upon.
Sure.
Um, in
Because
addition to his high skill level in just playing games and the fact that this is the god tier game that is allowing him to benefit from all these skills that he has gathered
grown
from playing
from
all these
other
trash
games.
games, which gets commented on later, that is apparently arguably more important than stats in an MMO.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
I'm just
Well, in a
hey,
VR
a
MMO, the way
VR
that you
full dive
move.
MMO, my bad.
Yeah.
um
Uh,
but yeah.
You're right, because like even if somebody had spawned one of these Egyptian gods or whatever they're called, I don't know. One
One
of
of these
these,
Zodias,
yeah,
Exodias.
one of these Exodias comes out. One, you have like a 1% chance of this happening. Two, there's like a 15-20% chance it's the Lycagon. We haven't even explored like what if this happened with a different one? What would that trigger, the same bunny event, or would that trigger a different sort of event?
Now we're going to the goblin camp to meet the goblin people
Yeah,
and
so
become the
like
goblin hero.
I agree that there's no real power in him gatekeeping it. It's just kind of funny that
It
now he's
is.
gonna have all this pain and go through all this stuff because he won't just say, I don't know, it was random, bro. But now everybody's gonna be like going for him. So
But
that's a good.
simultaneously, I feel like people would still like, half of the people would be like, "Oh, okay," and then the other half is going to be like, "You're lying.
Yeah, I don't believe
Tell
you.
me, why are
Yeah,
you still gatekeeping?"
pretty much, yeah. Arthur Pencilgon is the girl that his friend knows from the trash game, and then it goes to end credits, and then we get more information about Arthur Pencilgon in the next one. So, what happens in episode 6, The Writing Tool Night Queen?
We see the history between Sunraku and Arthur Pencilgon as she states the terms of why she had been sent. Animalia recognizes Pencilgon as the second in command of the Ashura and the PK clan, but she seems to hesitate in her attacks on Sunraku. Emil changes form in front of Animalia, who turns to face Arthur in defense of this cute creature. Arthur brought backup, and Siger Zero, the attack master, who is actually Ray, shows up and provides herself a natural in to talk to Sunraku by saving him from the PKers, leaving Arthur thrilled that the attack master has shown up. Animalia reveals they have a trap card.
Oh, hell yeah. Arthur Pencilgon, level 99 PK. Um, we go into this other game that they knew each other from. This sort of like flashback sequence when they're explaining who Arthur Pencilgon was, about the trash game Unite Rounds. Sunraku takes down looters. There's knights that are supposed to be taking down monsters. What did you think of that idea? So unite rounds.
It's we've seen it happen.
Yeah, like
We've
a
seen it
full guide,
happen.
and I can think of a couple off the top of my head. One of them probably made by Amazon, but Unite Rounds is a game where you're supposed to be knights, an MMO taking down monsters, but because of the bad in-game drops, bro, everybody's like, "Fuck that."
Bro, even the rocks have a drop rate of 40%. What is, you can't even throw this.
That felt super real when they're like when they did like the montage of them being like they're just in the mining stuff for
Yeah,
hours or
yeah.
whatever, and it's like, damn, I would steal too. Shit, like yeah,
It
that
also, yeah, it reminds me of games like Rust or like Daisy, a combination of that with, like you said, one made by Amazon, New World. These games that think that, oh, we just create the system and allow players to have all the control they want, like period. And there's a fine line in game design that has to be tread, and it definitely does a good job at displaying some of the different nuances of bad game design. We saw a really bad fighting game that had all of these bugged moves and invisible hitboxes and disjointed hitboxes and all that
was that
stuff.
Overwatch or
I mean,
just kidding.
and then we also see a game that might be functional and might work well without bugs, but its core design elements are just a shadow of what it should be, leading it to become a dystopia run by the players, eventually being dominated by the dystopian empress.
Which is
So
very
it all
cool to
makes sense.
see.
It
Yeah,
all
it
makes
makes
sense.
sense. And if I feel like with this level of in-depth like callbacks to things, like even in episode 6, we've seen a lot more, but this was like, oh, these are gamers. Like they know what they're doing when they write this stuff because yeah, drove people to steal from NPCs or actual players. So like what the hell? We're not gonna play the game the way it was supposed to be because why? You could just steal from people. And there's the Pencil Kingdom, who Arthur was the ruler, the dystopian empress. She did mention, or Arthur did mention that they once fought to a draw and both died in the game of Unite Round. So they are at the same caliber, except Pencilgon is level 99 in this game. She's second in command of the PK clan Ashura Kai, also known as the Giant Killer. She just has a bunch of different names for herself. Animalia sees Emil transform, and Animalia faces against Pencilgon because she doesn't want her to hurt Emil. I kind of like that where they introduce this character that's just wants a freaking bunny man, dude. Like bunny
On the
pets.
forums, she was literally just like, "Is this a cheat? What is he doing? I thought you could only
Yeah.
get dogs and cats." Like
Yeah.
going feral.
I mean, same for me in Final Fantasy 14. If I see somebody on a crazy mount, I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's how it is. That's what makes
how
it
do I?
feel real, is that there are going to be so many different people seeing that screenshot of something that somebody
Uh-huh.
hasn't, like, that players don't know about, and everybody's going to be interested for different reasons. Somebody's
Mhm.
interested in the marks on his body, somebody's interested in the a small creature, somebody's interested in the quest line that it took to get there in the first place. Like, everybody's going to be interested for a different reason, and the show does a really good job at kind of like doing that through different characters.
So Anomalia is definitely me. Just like literally, like what the fuck? And then when
Cosmetic hunter and mount, like,
yeah, pretty much.
aficionado.
So Animalia faces off with Pencilgon. Pencilgon brought a crew to fight. They part of the clan. Clan is very powerful. She uses a karmic straw doll to deflect all the curses back from Animalia. And then the attack master, Siger Zero, who's actually Ray, came and attacked and came to their aid, which was really cool. And then as you said in the final shot, Animalia had something up her sleeve to do a final
Just
shot.
activated my trap card.
Yeah, so like a lot of this is backstory for Pencilgon. A lot of this is
Yeah, it
building
spent a
up some new
solid like 6
characters.
minutes on the whole, different game. It like really took time to dive into that concept, which I appreciate.
Because it is something that had some value if you played a game, and they are still sort of like doing the something really easy, which I really like in this anime is when they bring up a different term or something, they just like put it on screen. If you want to read it, you can. If you don't, whatever. They don't spend like, well, actually, PvP in a video game is, and they don't waste voice lines for that. And I'm so appreciative of that.
Mhm.
They're like, okay, yeah, he was doing this PvP, and then it came up, boop, and then it's gone. I'm like, cool, great. We know. If you know, you know. You can read it. If not, but the backstory, like you said, gave us a lot of value because you will know it if you know it. But it's also like a fun little story and gave a lot to the character.
Mhm.
Um,
'Cause now we
well,
have this interesting dynamic of a PKer standing in his way, but one that he has a pre-existing relationship with that we don't it's not just a voice line, it's now been fleshed out and contextualized and,
mhm.
through their interactions and how he even calls out, that she doesn't seem to be trying her best, and, we get this, feeling that, she's definitely gonna maybe come back into the picture in a different way, maybe not
Join
always
the
going to be an
squad.
enemy, but I don't know, there's something there. It sets up an interesting dynamic is all I'm saying.
Cyger Zero comes out and ends it here. Ends the fight, hopefully. Let's get into episode 7, Remnant of the Divinity, the Aberrant Loser. What happens in episode 7?
Ray's crush gets context as we see what caused her to begin crushing on Rakuro. Animalia banishes Arthur, and Sunraku uses the distraction to slip away as Siger Zero takes aggro from the rest of the PKers. Sunraku gets emails from his old friends requesting a meetup before he sends off for the Colosseum. He is tasked with defeating a boss rush of encounters, each giving him a varying amount of difficulty and repeated attempts needed for completion. Finally, reaching encounter 10, faced with an aberrant wood mage.
Bro, I didn't even know until she said it last episode in episode 6 that she's never talked to this boy. I thought like in episode 1 or something we saw her like trying to get the nerve up
Oh, yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
Ray, like trying to like, oh hey, and then she gets like cut off with his other friend. I thought like they may have talked once or twice or like kind of friends and she just wanted the eye from him and she wasn't getting it. Like
No, not at all. She
what?
just she
Yeah,
just be looking at him.
in episode in episode 6, she was like, "Oh, what did she say? Like, yeah, maybe it'll finally get him to talk to me for once or something." And I was like, "Wait, what? Y'all haven't talked? Not even anything?" So in episode 7, she just admires him from afar, man. It's kind
Yeah.
of, I mean, she just be looking. She
You just
it
be
got
looking.
it got a centimeter too close to being creepy stalkerish.
To pick up boys in VR.
Yeah, pretty much. Because she was saying, what was she saying? She was like, "Oh, it was really nice to see him, and I really like seeing him do this." And
She just
then
says that he always looks like he's having so much
he's
fun,
having a good time. He's enjoying
just
himself, and
enjoying
it
himself.
made it really easy to look at him. And it even made it. And then it started getting easier to like follow him and
I
find
started
him.
looking for him.
And I'm
That
like,
that was the line where I was like, yeah, I did that. It's like I started looking for him, and it's like, huh?
"This- "No, don't do that.
What?
What are you doing? Do not do that." Um, so it got like a hair close to being creepy, just a little bit.
In the bathroom by yourself, and then you hear the door open and slam, and you're just
Yeah, pretty much.
like,
And she's thinking about him, looking for him, and then we cut back to the actual scene of what's going on. And Amalia does like a suicide bomb, sort of with pencil gun, just like I will take this, and I'll take the death, whatever. We haven't really discussed like, is there a penalty to being dead? You just go back to your last save, or
it talked about penalties for PKers at some point, where if you have the
oh
skull,
yeah,
like like a certain amount of your equipped items and your stored items get ripped away from you, and the bounty on your head gets paid out of your personal stash.
Oh,
I remember both of those things being said
I missed
about
that.
PKers, but
Oh,
general death, I don't like. If you're just dying in PVE or to a PKer, I don't think anything really happens, which kind of questions why PKers would PK in the first place. Like, are they just doing it for the thrill of PKing, and that the PV concept of PvP? Because it seems like the game kind of discourages PvP unless there's maybe some sort of a coliseum where you
it
can do PvP and
yeah,
good faith.
it seemed like, I mean, when Anomalia and Pentagon died, it didn't look like they dropped anything. So I don't think it was like a drop sort of thing. Um
This
and they
question.
even talked about it in the past as well, how there's some PKers that'll keep killing him, keep killing Sunraku until he gives them the information. So it's not like they can just get his things
Yeah, they
probably.
talked about like spawn camping him.
Yeah, spawn camping where his last save was, and then just not letting him leave until he tells them to make it miserable. Maybe you get like their gold or something. Yeah, they haven't really specified, I guess, what the point of PKing is.
But it
Uh,
seems like that the leader of the PK clan has Shurikai has some sort of ulterior motive that they are interested in, because we see them for a moment on the forums. And it doesn't
mhm.
seem like they just want uh to like, yeah, kill him. They want information, but
Maybe
like,
you get
why
a
do they want information?
maybe you get a cool title for killing 1,000 people or something.
So like, yeah, there's a couple intrigue points for me where like it's like, we have like I just need some whys, some why people want things.
And I believe that they can give it to us. Like
Mhm.
everything that's led up until now, I feel like anytime I had a why, they just, even when I didn't have a why, I'm like, oh, this is cool information that they're giving me with the flashbacks or like some other's perspective. Like,
It's
uh,
leading into a bigger picture, I feel like, for sure.
yeah, definitely. So we get Sunraku jumping off of Saiger Zero, and then she just goes crazy because he said, and I like the way they kept framing it because she was probably just replaying it in her head. It's like, what did he say? Sorry, or something.
He just says
So,
like, yeah, sorry, because he uses her
yeah,
head as a
jumps.
springboard.
Sorry, and then it just keeps getting played like romantically again and
And
again.
every
She's
single
like,
time he like says it with more like love and care,
yeah,
and his eyes start to get bigger and start to glisten.
yeah.
It's just like, yeah, that's probably exactly what's happening in her head.
And then we get into arena for battle training. So we go to the Vorpal Coliseum. We have to defeat 10 monsters. Emil said we got to defeat 10 monsters here. First monster, the level 65 pack hounds, which are, I guess, considered a monster, but there's multiple of the monsters. So he defeats the pack hounds by taking out the leader. Parasite, there's like a ton of different ones he gets to. Did you like the way they did it? It went a little long where they're just kind of explaining
Yeah,
all the different ones. I got a couple here. Parasite Tentacle, Goblin Berserker, the Dino Bear, died to the Toxic Eagle 112
I
times, which is kind of
definitely
funny.
agree that we didn't need to see all the fights. I definitely agree that seeing like one of them was all we really needed to kind of like contextualize how the rest of them are going to go. He's going to find through trial and error the weak spot, and I feel like it was like it could have gone through with a little bit more brevity. It could have kept the debriefs a bit shorter until finally getting to that one where the robot one where it was like all long. It would have made that joke feel a bit funnier because we would have been able to like get through everything else a bit quicker.
Mhm.
So I think that it in execution, in theory, in theory, yes, I agree with how it was handled, but in execution, just make it a bit quicker. Like, we don't really need to linger on all of that for that long if he's just going to give us a little quip about the fight move on. Little quip about the fight, move on. Stamp, stamp,
I
stamp.
wouldn't.
Make it feel like a
Yeah,
game where you're doing a boss rush event and you're going through all of those and you're getting those stamps really quick.
I might have
Um,
liked it a little bit more, but I get um why they didn't do it. Like just a montage, like one little fight of him hitting the guy, boom, dead into pixels, and then like him standing off with another one, boom, into pixels 10 times, rather than him just talking us through it. This is like the one. I think this is the one down point of the 4 episodes where I was just like,
I
okay.
totally agree. This was the lowest point of this set of episodes, but in my head, what I was telling myself is that if this is just because we're about to get a fucking spectacular 10th fight, I'm kind of okay with it. And you know
Yeah,
what? We got a spectacular 10th fight.
brother. This shit went crazy. But he defeats all these other ones. And also, there's not like a time on so I thought about it because when you're grinding out a game, or like I picture definitely Final Fantasy 14, when you're grinding out something, you can die 5 times, but those five times on one boss, those 5 times could be 2 hours or something. You know what I mean? Like, or they could be 10 minutes, like depending on how much you know about the rotation and everything. So it was interesting not to give us like how long he
Sure.
spent, because 112 deaths.
Did you watch the post credit scene in this one?
Yes. Yes.
When I see how quickly he dies to the pooping bird, it
Yeah.
reminds me that like, oh yeah, he's literally no armor speed build
Mhm.
fighting these insanely tough creatures. He takes one hit, he's just dead. So it's like the fights are probably super short on his death runs where he's learning from his mistakes, and then the one he gets is probably like 30 seconds long.
But then a lot of them are, yeah, he defeated them like the first time.
First try, yeah,
So,
because and for those ones, it was usually the generally slower, grounded creatures. Whereas
mhm.
again, the pooping pigeon, it makes sense. It's flying up there, and he has dual daggers. He has no ranged attacks. How did he even do it? It didn't even end up. I would have loved to see how he actually ended up doing it, but I was like, oh, okay, we don't get to know. It's fine,
Yeah,
but
whatever.
whatever. Yeah,
So he got to level
get
31,
that word.
and the 10th monster was caught by the whole bunny mafia or whatever. Uh,
Vash.
you have to win by surviving 5 minutes. And brother, this monster looked crazy. The aberrant wood mage. They what the narrator says as well, that Sunraku is the first one to fight this monster ever, and it is level 120. The I'm assuming 99 is the limit right now, the level cap, because that's what Pencilgon was at, but we don't know for sure.
Didn't show us like officially Siger Zero's level, I don't think.
That's
So
true.
we
No,
can
we don't
only
know their
assume
level.
that they're probably max level 2.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, then Senraku is already set up to fight the aberrant wood mage. And we go into episode 8, the 300 limit pandemonium. What happens in episode 8?
Sunraku is tasked with surviving a duel with the Wood Mage for 5 uninterrupted minutes. He is quickly overwhelmed with an onslaught of attacks and finds the Wood Mage is impervious to damage. Sunraku refuses to relent with such overwhelming odds pitted against him, and he closes the distance to the mage and disarms it of its arcane focus, enraging the mage but limiting its attack patterns. Sunraku uses the staff to bait the mage into wasting its last seconds and winning the encounter, becoming an honorary citizen of Rabbit Tusa and receiving a new unique quest. Sunraku picks up a peculiar garment in an attempt to hide his identity, but finds himself being shadowed by Siger Zero.
So I tried on this episode to watch it in English because
Oh,
I was like, haven't done that yet
yeah.
with this anime. Don't recommend it.
Okay.
The translated words are very different than the Japanese translated words, which was kind of odd. I was like, okay,
Really?
they're saying the same thing, but they're not doing the same sentences. And that was probably it was probably the most egregious. I mean, I see that happen sometimes. Like,
Yeah,
fine, whatever. You're trying to make it better for an English voice to say
exactly.
convey what
Sometimes
you're
the words don't
saying.
roll off the tongue.
But yeah, but it was like kind of egregious. I was like, okay, no, I'm good.
Like, did you check back to back like at
uh,
the
it was
translations?
a
And if
little
you
yeah. It was like the English because I read it or I had it with English and then English subbed as well.
subtitles and the subtitles were different from what
Different.
the dub was saying.
Yeah. And I was like, hmm,
Happens
they're
sometimes,
saying the
but
same
doesn't
thing.
happen often, I feel like.
No. So I was like, I think the Japanese subtitles are way better than the English subtitles of what the English person is saying. So I was like,
Dang.
I'm good. And also the voices were kind of weird. Sunraku's voice is way too manly. I was like, this ain't that boy. Like, it's fine.
Well, it's maybe because it's in his in-game avatar.
Yeah.
Maybe like you pick a voice instead of it being your actual IRL
Mm.
voice. Maybe. Unless in the first episode he's just walking around like, "Hey yo, what's up, bro?"
What's up, girl? You that knight? You that knight that saved me, or what?
I'm trying to play some shitty games with you.
Brother, from start to finish, this fight was epic. I
Pretty
loved
dang
it.
good.
It was insane. This wood mage just blasting off craziness. Is it okay? The wood mage is blasting off new spells with his other rotation in between new spells, whatever. Is it believable that Sunraku can get around this with his speed build?
Yeah.
Or was it kind
I
of
mean,
pushing the limits?
I freaking hate to say it, but again, we've already gotten the established, the established 100% fact from one of the top PKers in this game that Sunraku's trash game skills are arguably better than just his like having straight points. So from here, it's like anything he does, like I can kind of buy because one of the
Yeah.
top players in the game already said like, "Oh my god, I just fought him and
He
that's
was
kind of
really good.
crazy." Like so, yeah. If he was actually on their level with in terms of stats and stuff, just one can imagine what he'd be doing. But cursed to endure the the long haul of level 1 to level 99.
Mhm.
Bro, where do I swipe my card to instantly drop into late game? I just want to play the game.
Can I pay to play? That's one thing they haven't in put in there. Oh, maybe Ray is pay to play or pay to win. Maybe she was just like, I gotta get good before he gets here, and then just boom, 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 credit card. All right, I'm a big knight. That's what's strong, right?
That's some
What if
cosmetic store armor.
that's true? What if that's what it is? I mean, I can believe if it turns out that she's just got really good and got really addicted to this one thing, cool, that's fine. But also, it may take it a
Yeah, that's
step
the thing.
further.
Because it does also when she gets the message from somebody else in her clan saying that she needs to track down
It
Senraku,
was her sister.
it was her sister. So they're just in that house on their headsets all day. Just
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
that's just what they do.
So, insane animation for this fight. I love this fight. This was really good. Um, Looked
Good fight.
beautiful.
Even the fight with the wolves, I didn't mention it that much. Like I really liked how you can feel the movement of
Yeah.
Sunraku around the arena. It feels like a physical place, and you never really like the cuts aren't so jarring that you ever feel lost in the action, even though
No,
there's so much going on.
that's true. It feels like I know the edges of the place. Like it feels like he's in here, not just imaginary super big area,
Exactly.
but Coliseum is the centerpiece. Like, no, it feels like he's trying to work his way around this Coliseum. And it does put place and makes it feel real. Especially when this fucking wood mage is like just vines and wood going down everywhere, and he's trying to run around it, run through it and throwing stuff at him, and it's really cool. He kicks his staff away because of his shakedown skills from Unite rounds to take the staff. And I thought that was a really cool thing to add in
Yeah,
there. We just
nice little callback.
learned about Unite rounds, about what it's about, and like now we see him using that ability that he has that makes him so much better than everybody else because he played these trash games and he learned this way. During this fight as well, the music kicks up significantly. It's a lot of fun. Maybe it's because I'm listening to it with headphones. Like I'm watching it with my
Oh,
headphones in
I should
on my
start doing
computer.
that.
So like I noticed the music like getting pretty hyped. So definitely recommend. He survives the 5 minutes and he got the honorary Rabbituzen title earned.
No actual loot.
Brother, I would
Woo!
be mad too, dude. Like I don't give a fuck about titles.
If
I don't
Emil
care.
stays his companion permanently, I mean, I'm okay with no loot. If
Honestly,
all of a
yes.
sudden Emil is like, all right, I'm done, thank you, then I'd be like, I would really feel peeved. But since if I now have Emil as a permanent companion, sure,
Because he's done with the emo should be gone.
right?
Because he's done with the quest. I assumed that the second quest is just a hard version of the same thing that he just did. Because it
Nah,
said epic. It said Rabbituzen epic or whatever. So I thought it was just the same thing but up a notch.
gotcha.
Kind of like how I don't know if that's true or not. We haven't got
No,
confirmation of
I
that.
feel like it's gonna be a thing of because yeah, hello, I think it's not responding. When the souls of the divinity are shaken, a rabbit shall tell an epic tale. And he's like, whatever that means.
But yeah, but then it says Vorpal epic. So that's why I thought that it was just the epic version of because I'm coming from Final Fantasy 14 where they're like
Yeah.
this
Where
bad
there's
guy,
yeah.
this bad guy hard, this bad guy ultimate. So
I think it's different from the because that this one's recommended level is 80 and the other quest recommended level is 80 anyways too, I think. Because like when he walked through the door
true, I
and
thought
then
it
it
was
showed up
60.
afterwards and it was like, oh, it might have been 60. I'm forgetting. We're working with high numbers. It's late game. He's like level 20. It's just like he's just absurdly powerful.
Yeah. Okay, so it could be either or. I
Could
don't
be.
know. Yeah. They haven't really said, but that's what I instantly thought of.
But with Siger Zero, hey, just also wait, what did you think about the meme outfit?
I was
His little
fine with it.
ghost costume.
I was cool, bro. I would rock that. Like, what's the? I didn't find anything wrong with it. It was a
Right?
ghost.
It looks fine.
Yeah, it
Like, yeah, it's
looks.
a meme costume, but at least you're not, broadcasting your scars,
He
which
was
was the problem.
he was walking around with the bird head. Like, like I
Exactly.
love Emo's outfit, but if I'm not gonna have an outfit like Emo's outfit, might as well just have a ghost.
Oh,
Like, who
Evil's little
cares?
top hat.
Yeah, she's so cute. She's cool. I like her.
And one of the best running bits in the show. I don't know if you've noticed that couple that we got introduced to
They keep
where
showing up in the back.
they keep showing up with her like aiming at him, ready to fire. And
Uh-huh.
every single time he's probably like, no, that's a player. That's a player.
Yeah.
You can't
It
PK. But she's like, look at how ridiculous that is. How is that not a monster? Like, what are you talking about?
It's happened like 3 times, and I think on the first one, I was like,
Huh?
"Who's
Yeah.
that?" I was like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "Is this, like, bad guys watching him?" And I was like, "Oh, shit, it's the same couple." She just doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. It's great. It's great. It's there when it's just to add some visual fun, and I
Yeah,
really like
exactly.
that.
Exactly. There's
Um,
not a lot of dead time in this show.
no. Uh, I would be dead if I did all that and I just got a title, though. I would die. I would
Your
just be
loot
like,
goblin.
uninstall. Okay. Maybe the loot is in the
Uninstall,
next one.
unsubscribe,
Yeah,
delete
pretty much.
account.
Pretty much. Delete my account. It's if the next quest is something different, then maybe the good stuff is in that one. It's like you just gotta keep going, maybe. I
What
don't know.
if this is a game where all of the, like we already saw him crafting his own weapons, what if all the best stuff you have to put into your land skills and grind in the mines and on the fields and in the forest?
But this game's
What if
supposed to be
he's ignoring the
fun.
real way to get the good loot?
Oh, that'll be funny if like I thought I was supposed to fight everything, and it's like, nope, you're just
Nope.
supposed to mine and do all these other crafty things. He gets his collar taken off and he gets invited to do this other quest. We meet Pete, who is the younger brother of Emo. Bro, Pete is my boy. I would die for Pete's. Pete's is so cute. Love that guy. He's so dope. And then as like you said before, the meme costume, which is like Ghost, and they have some thoughts about where they should go next. They should go to the Prismatic Forest Grotto on the way to Forfolkshire, which is obviously the fourth city, Fell Fate Caldera, or the Iron Ruins of the Divinity. And they just decided to go to the Prismatic Grotto, right?
Yeah.
And
He
to
starts to he's like, you
explain
want to know
about
why? And here's my long-winded answer why.
nobody
And
cares.
as the camera pans away from him
Yeah.
into focus to something else.
Forfolkshire. It's gonna like the
Prismatic
joke.
Forest sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, the joke is here, and then it went down here. But then at some point, it's gonna be like, okay. They're gonna come up with something really clever for like 7 or 8. And I'll be like, I'm back in.
We're back.
We're back. We're back. So where do we go next? We're going to the Prismatic Forest Grotto. Where does this story go? We only have one episode to talk
I
about.
want to see whatever the meeting is between his old two friends, because I want to know what Arthur's motivation is. What do you have interest in seeing Sunraku come into this game again? Because she says at some point something along the lines of like, oh wow, his skills are really in tune, like this is great for my plans. It's like, what are your plans?
So she did.
What are your plans?
Yeah, they mentioned she's not the top person. So yes, she's probably
second in command.
helping work for this one number one. But what are the plans really?
So that's what's holding probably the most intrigue for me, other than just seeing like, what other types of skills Sunraku gets and how else he can kind of like min-max himself into being able to overcome the increasing challenges that an MMO environment is going to be posing to him. Those are probably the two things that have me hooked the most moving into our last set of episodes.
I would say the same. I could get rid of this romance line or this other soul.
It's just kind of there.
It is just kind of there.
If it becomes a bit with them forming a relationship with her concealing her true identity.
I mean, what is she gonna like? How does she even? What's her plan here?
Exactly.
What's her plan here?
What's the plan
Because
at this point?
at first, I was like, okay, maybe they've talked once at school, and then they're gonna form a relationship in this game,
Because when
and
she
then
goes
they're gonna
looking for him in the starter town, even what's the plan from there? You just walk up to him and be like, "Hey, I'm a really high level player. You want to just like roll with me, and I'll show you how to play this game."
Oh yeah,
Like, by the
yeah, we're having a great time here. Oh, this is fun. What's your name, brother, or whatever? I don't even know if they change voices in the game, so she sounds like a girl or not. Whatever. Like, oh, cool. Where are you in the world or whatever? And it's like, oh well, actually, I'm going to school. Whoa, that's weird.
That's crazy. I actually stare at you in the game store.
Yeah. Like, oh, I go to that game store all the time and whatever. Like, how is it gonna go? Like, what is your plan here? Because I thought it would have been less creepy if y'all had talked before and y'all were kind of friends, but you were like back
because like that's what the other guy was doing that we saw in the game, where he's like, oh, the girl I have a crush on, I'm showing her this game and now I'm teaching her how to play it and it's great.
But the first word he says to you is sorry for stepping on your face. Like,
he spoke to me. That's a response, and I knew that's the direction it was gonna go. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe he spoke to me. Like, he didn't really speak to you; he spoke at you,
as he was jumping off of your face.
Off your face.
Like, it's not gonna be
so it's like
fairy tale ending here.
If it wants me to be invested in them from an actual romantic like standpoint, I'm not. And we've seen other shows pull off subtle romance better. the will they won't they better.
Mhm.
And if it just plays it for a bit where like she's going to be constantly tailing him, it's going to get old fast. If she gets introduced into his party, his group somehow, I think that's the best dynamic that they could come up with her trying to like conceal her identity to, reveal at the perfect time, and the perfect time's never going to come.
Yeah,
So
that's
at
fine.
least that's like, a way of now bringing her in as a consistent character as Siger Zero, even if we don't get Ray.
Yeah, because we leave off with episode 8 as she's just kind of staring at him from around the building. So it's like, okay, well, we're doing this
Can
now.
I come
But
over and stare at you like this?
yeah, can I stare at you? But yeah, the intriguing stuff is with the clan, the PK clan, what their motives are. And I still feel like something outside of the game is gonna change. Like that's my prediction for the next. Well, I don't know. Man, we only have 4 more episodes.
Yeah,
I think they may lead off because this show has longer in season one.
it's like
We're not
24
gonna
episodes
watch
or something.
the whole first season, but I think hopefully there's some little trickle or nugget where the devs start getting some interest in what's going on.
And I think like just based on the fact that we've seen one of the top PKers in the game be capped out at level 99, but then he gets thrown into this boss rush event with a capstone boss that's level 120. I think that already kind of showcases the fact that the developers are probably holding more cards than they appear to be.
Some dev just like watching the numbers, he's just like he's just like watching the and then like hold on, hold on. Whoa, hold on,
What's
wait.
going on? Wait,
Something's
what's going
happening.
on? What's going on?
120. Hold on. Watch this guy. But yes, next week we're gonna be talking about our last 4 episodes of the anime, which are not the last episodes of the season. We're gonna be watching episode 9 through 12. Did we decide 12?
Yeah, 12.
Okay, 9 through 12 of Shangri-La Frontier by next week. Watch them as well by next Thursday. And the next week, we'll have something prepared, which is pretty cool. Because after this, we're going to rank the anime next week, but we're going to do our Crunchy Awards. We're doing it,
The
and
second
possibly
annual.
the Crunchies. If I can get together, you may be able to vote on which were some of your favorite anime in different categories for this whole season 2. So you can vote for your favorites or vote for the worst villain or something like that. Stuff like that. We'll be doing that for the next episode after next week, after we finish Shangri-La. Matt, when you're not frontiering those Shangri-Las, where can they find you on the internet?
You can follow me on my YouTube at Matt_Galley or my socials on Instagram. Just add an ITS at the front, make it it's Matt_Galley. Jules, when the Shangri-La are the frontiers we made along the way, where can the people find you?
At JulesTheHuman, at JulesTheHuman on all social media. On my YouTube channel, this is where we post all this stuff here. On my Instagram, I'm posting a bunch of stuff. If you want to see my face more, it's on Instagram. Or you want to hear me talk about Star Trek or comic books, follow me on Threads at JulesTheHuman. You can also check out this podcast on Spotify or YouTube Music or anywhere you get podcasts. You can watch the videos on Spotify. You can take us on the road while you're at the gym or in the car and anywhere else you get podcasts. And give us like a 5-star stuff or whatever you're watching. Give us some stars. Throw some stars.
Five
Um,
stars, thumbs up, whatever it is.
thumbs
Do the thing.
thumbs
Do the
up in
thing.
those stars.
Give
You can
us
also
face for the sake of,
smiley faces as well. You could also check out the podcast only anime YouTube channel. It's linked in the description of this video that you're watching here. So you can go and follow that. It's just it's just the podcast. We post whatever other content like shorts or anything first over there on that YouTube channel. But go check us out. Go follow us on all the things and see you next Thursday for the end Shangri-La Frontier. All right.
Until next time.